Hello, Paul. How are you? Ready for some jazz patterns tonight? Okay, good. Okay. Now, more or less, this is going to be the same lesson as I did this afternoon, because the people that were here this afternoon are going to be back, and hopefully they understood what I explained, and if they didn't, well, that's why they're back. Hey Russ, how are you? Thanks for the plug before on Facebook, I appreciate that. Okay, we're waiting for Mike. First of all, we did the triplet fills. Now what I'm going to be working with tonight, the books are going to be the stick control book, obviously, and the syncopation book. Now, what I did yesterday and what I did this afternoon, just to reinforce it, I referred to the exercise as a triplet fill-in, like a linear line. I used the stick control book as the reference, or whatever is written on the syncopation book, I'll play with one hand and fill it in with the triplet. So just to go over briefly, the first couple lines of stick control book, as you see, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and, we're going to swing that, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, and we're going to eliminate the lefts. So that's going to give me, on that particular sticking pattern, just the rights, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and I fill in the blank, or I make it a straight line of triplets. I go into the triplet mode, and I'm thinking eighth note triplet, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and so I get this now. I'm going to fill in the blank with a lighter sounding or pianissimo, or if you want to refer to it as a ghost note, with the left hand. For example, I'm playing just the rights, 1 and the 2 and the 3 and the 4 and the. Now I'm going to fill in to make it a continuous straight line of eighth note triplets, and I'm going to fill in the blank with the left hand. 1 and the 2, 3, 4. Okay? Now, let's play that up tempo a little bit. Let me put that ring back on there. Hold on. Oh, mercy. Let's see how that sounds. Does that sound better, guys? With the ring? It's a little up tempo. Line 1. 1. All right, now, with that interpretation or that concept or approach or whatever, I'm going to play my bass drum on 1, 2, 3, 4, my snare and my hi-hat 2 and 4, heel and toe, playing the pattern on one surface. Little up tempo. Now, what I like to do next is move it around. Now, whatever drum setup you have, whether you have 2 small toms or 2 floor toms, let me take this one here, or 2 floor toms. So what I like to do is move it around. We get that? Understand it, gentlemen? Okay, next move on line 1. All right, we're going to do a substitution. Instead of playing the right hand, to all rights for the bass drum. So now we're going to have 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. Still linear. Only one voice at a time. Now I'm going to add my left foot, heel and toe, 2 and 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now we take that part and we're going to play the jazz pattern. And we're going to play the next step. Now you just, some guys, who do we have here? How are you, Xavier? Is that who you are? Welcome. Okay, so, you know, you might not, you're not accustomed to playing this. Let me change the view on this guy so you can see my right hand a little bit better, and I'll explain my approach on it. Hold on. Now let me explain how I play that rise cymbal pattern. First off, I'm thinking triplets. All right, what I'm doing, all right, I'm playing straight 4 with that rise cymbal. Can you see the rise cymbal better this way? 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. But notice, I'm playing all 4 notes, trying to make the same sound. I'm restricting myself as very technical here, not opened or colorful or whatever you want to call it. I'm just laying down a straight ahead tempo, making all 4 notes sound the same. I was thinking triplets, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Now I'm establishing this part right here as the free stroke, 1 and 2 and 3, 4. Now I'm going to implement the rest of the jazz pattern. So it becomes down, back, free stroke, down, free stroke, down. So I get all 4 notes sounding the same. 1 and 2 and 3. Now I'll play the line. 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Do you understand that? Gentlemen, Ross, Paul, Xavier. And you're all the way from Uruguay. Whoop. You understand that, right, Paul? Okay. So now I've taken line 1 and orchestrated it into something and altogether different. Let's travel to line 2. Line 2 now, the sticking pattern is 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 2 and 3 and 4. I'm going to swing that. So I'm going to get 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. I eliminate the lefts and I just get the does. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and I fill it in with the triplet. 1 and 4. Okay. And now I'm going to put the bass drum. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hi-hat 2 and 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So what I like to do is travel from line 1 and line 2. Now I'm not going to restrict myself to just one drum, okay? I could, when I'm doing this particular part of it, whatever drum you want to play, and you start to hear different sounds and colors or flavors or whatever you want to call it, play it. I'm going to do line 1 and line 2, and I'm going to move it around. I have 5 drums. 1, 3, 4, 5, and actually 6. So I got 1. So on and so forth. You can have a great time with that. Now, again, the next move on this particular platform, we're going to play it against the jazz pattern. 1, 2, 3. Remember, substituting all the rights for the bass drum. Okay, you enjoying this, guys? You understanding all of this? Yes, no, maybe, by chance, perhaps. Need a Y for yes and N for no. Okay. No response. Okay, good for you, Paul. Now that's line 1 and line 2. Now let's do line 3. I don't think I need to go through the whole sticking pattern. If I look at line 3, you have right, right, left, left. That's 1 and 2 and. Now let me do it. Let's keep a sequence going on. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. And 2 and 3 and 4 and. Now, we're going to swing that, which becomes now 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. We eliminate the lefts, and we get 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and then I'm going to do this one really slow, and we're going to fill in the blank, the triplet. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Got it? Up tempo a little bit. Moving it around. Okay, it makes for some nice things going on there. So let's hang out a little bit with line 1, 2, and 3. Just having a whole lot of fun. Okay, now you have the PDF sheet for this one, right, Ross and Paul? Xavier, is that your name? You're from Uruguay? I usually give out PDF sheets, but you need to be a member of the site. Now this is only a temporary site until the other site gets up and running. If you would like the PDF sheets, you need to become a member of the site. All right? Let me see if I can enter the website. Okay, that's the live lesson site. And that's not a free site, but it's not running until maybe another week or two from now, because once it gets up and running, this is going to go all the way. So if you'd like the PDF sheets, join, and you need to pay the tuition fee, which is $19.95 a month, and that allows you all the PDFs that are in the site from day one, which was maybe 2.5 years ago. So that's entirely up to you. So if you join, I will send you all the PDFs, okay? Not a problem. Okay, so that takes care of line 2, 1, 2, and 3. You can have a lot of fun with this stuff. That was line 5. Okay, I'm going 1, 2, 3. Sorry, 1, 2, 1 and 2. Mercy, Lord be. All right, line 5 would be 1 and 2. Would you like me to break down line 5 or go to the syncopation book? Gentlemen, you understand the whole concept? Now, if you do all 72 of them, there's more than actually 72. Okay, what you can do is take it from, like, do the whole page first, the first 24, go back and do line 1 and go across the page to 13. Do line 1 again and go to line 14. Line 1 again, line 13. Or do line 2, line 14. Line 2, line 15. So it's never ending, it's a great journey, and it's a whole lot of fun. But the important thing here, it's all technical right now. It's not musical, because we're not thinking musically, we're thinking mathematically and technical. So you have to approach it that way, so you put things in place. Once you put things in place, the next step is the music. Oh. Do we have any questions so far, gentlemen? Yes, no, maybe? I did tell Mike from Maryland that I will be making a video, a solo, in 5/4. Do any of you guys ever play in 5/4? No questions. We could either go on to the syncopation book, or I can hang out with 5/4 for a little bit. Which one would you like, gentlemen? That whiskey. Say that whiskey. What is that? Say that whiskey. That's 5. 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You want to hit 5/4? I'm not. That's not take 5, Brubeck. Take the, see that whiskey? See that whiskey? I can't get 5 out of that. All right, 5/4 with Brubeck, classic tune. I played it for Joe. Oh, I don't know, 100 years ago, in the studio, and he laughed at me. And he was mechanical with that in the beginning, but then he opened it up. It's just, you know, you think mathematically, and once you get a whole lot of tools in your toolbox, you can improvise off the 5 as long as you don't deviate from the 5/4 feel. I mean, you could play over the line, you could subdivide it, But let's just play, let's hang out with the 5-4 a little bit, okay? The 5-4, let's just take bottom, the ground zero, and the ground zero is, there's 5 beats to a measure, and each quarter note receives the counter beat. So if I constantly play quarter notes, it would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I just play 2 measures of 5-4. I play eighth notes of 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1 and 2. Triplets. 1 and 2 and 3, 4, 5. So I'm playing 5 beats per measure. Now, when I'm thinking solo, an open solo, so to speak, do you know the difference between an open solo and a solo within the parameters of 32 measures? Do we know the difference? Or a solo out of the box, as long as I'm thinking 5? Do we all understand that concept? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You understand? You understand the out of the box, right? Improvising. I've been thinking of a few things to do because I did promise Mike. We all know Mike from the site here. Nice guy, good drummer. And I would name it like give Michael 5 or whatever. I'm going to title it. And I've just been hanging out and kind of orchestrating some things I hear. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Could sit, hang out, and just play in 5. If you noticed, when I didn't phrase anything, I just played, but it was always in 5. You always knew where the 1 was because I was pronouncing that 1. I was always going back to the 1. If I wanted to improvise off of that, I would sometimes come to the 2 or the 3. Do you understand what I mean by that? I'm going 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Here, watch. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 4, 5. 2, 3. It's not easy. Hey, Ross, do you understand that 5-4? I mean, I can play funk. I don't know if that's the correct term. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 and 1, 2, 5. Just have a whole lot of fun. All right, well, that's something I've been working on. I also sent you guys a sheet, and it was supposed to be a linear funk sheet, and it was about page, it was on one of the lines of page 5, which I said, all right, let's take line 5, line 6 rather, on page 5, and dissect it and see what we can come up with. And come up with a simple kind of process that you could improvise from and play funky. We all have the sheet, right? Paul and Ross. It's the one that says line 6, stick control book to funk. Do you have that? Because that's going to be our next lesson. you have them. This is kind of weird, I guess, and kind of difficult, but what I'm trying to do, I think I'm accomplishing this, is that, yeah, line 6 in the stick control book is 1 E and 2 E and 3 E and 4 E and now that's one thing on line 6, and that is the way, you know, with the full stroke, the half stroke, and the quarter stroke, is the way George Lawrence Stone intended that. Okay? Now, what I did was I said, okay, I'm going to make my rights either my bass drum or my right hand. I'm going to make the lefts my snare drum or my hi-hat. As you can see if you read it. Now you look at the first guy, and the key is, the first note is a right hand. I'm going to play my right hand on my hi-hat. The second is a left hand on a snare drum. 1, E, and I did the same sticking, but I did substitutions. I went right, left, left, right. Right, left, left, right. You see that? 1, E, and then I come to 2, and I have the snare drum. 2, E, and 3, E, and 4, E, and 1. Do we see that, gentlemen? It's very, very interesting. It's just a concept of taking one of the lines, and you could do this with any line. Any line. And what I'm doing is opening up that door and giving you a direction that you can go in. Okay? Do you understand what I just did, Paul and Ross? Now, I have a certain approach I think would work for you, because it's very unusual the way I wrote it out. So what I would do is I would start, you know, in the beginning of the measure naturally, and say, all right, let's just play the 1, 2, 3, 4 only. Let's just do that. So on the count of 1, I have 1, then I'm counting 16s. 1, E, and the, now 2, E, and the 3, E, and the 4, E, and the. So I say, okay, I'll do that a few times, smooth. 1 E and the 2 E and the 3 E and the 4. 1 sorry. 1 E and the 1 E and the 2 E and the 3 E and the 4 E and the 1 E and the. Hi boy, oh boy, hold on. 1 E and the 2 E and the 3 E and the 4. 1 E and the 2 E and the 3 E and the 4. So that's what I'm doing. So I just established the first note of the grouping of 4. So now I feel good with that. I'm going to add now all the E's. I'm going to play 1 E, 2 E, 3 E, and 4 E. And you make that flow somewhat. 1 E and 2 E and 3 E and 4 E and. Now you see what I just did? That's how I enter that. You understand that, Ross? Each one, you're not going to make these smack and hoping, cooking for the first time. It's going to take you some time. It's not easy. Now I'll have this up to par. I haven't really prepared a presentation with this yet, as of yet, but as of tomorrow, the 1 o'clock and 8:30 lesson will be on this particular one. So what that does save me is me not sending any PDFs out. Xavier, you still there? I just think it's a very unusual way to interpret the stick control. You know, you can't be shallow and say, okay, there's 3 ways to do the stick control book, and all the variety of tempos like full stroke position, the half stroke position, the quarter stroke position. You know, there's so much to do. It's just that, you know, the more I know, the more I realize I don't know. And it's not depressing, it's just energizing me. Especially at my age. I need all the energy I can get. It energizes me to practice more. Because I want to do all of this. And so, you know, as of late I have been spending a tremendous amount of time on the computer, And hopefully that's gonna stop. And I get back to my practicing my drums and learning more and writing more and discovering more possibilities. Because you become addicted to this kind of concept. Now, do you understand, Russ and Paul, do you understand where I'm coming from with these lines? Xavier, do you understand what I just did? Xavier, is that how you pronounce your name? Xavier, you still there? Uruguay is a far away place. Okay, so what we're gonna do this whole thing tomorrow night, the linear concept, and I don't know if I'm gonna be able to, probably by Monday, I will be able to have a video out there on a 5/4 drum solo. Give Mike 5. Okay? We all have it. You have the sheet, Paul, you have the sheet, Ross. And Xavier left, I believe. I'm not sure. He might not have. Okay. And the week after we'll do some sambas or something, I don't know. It's just, I gotta relax. I mean, that's like 20, that's, see, 2, 4, 6 different lessons a week times 4, that's 24 different things a month. And I don't like to repeat myself, but I have to, because I do get requests to redo this and redo that. Is there anything, like you guys were supposed to have a ton of questions for me? How come? No questions? Okay. Guys want more or less tonight? Okay, shoot. Traditional. I'm assuming that you play match like this, parallel or German. What is your question, Paul? Hopefully I can help you out. See, because if you're going to make a transition, you never played traditional before, and you want to make that transition, it's just a different thing. When I go like this, my wrist is coming up and down like this. When I'm on traditional, I'm turning over like this. So it's a different kind of muscle. Okay, so what is your question so I could try to help you out? What I always do, I've gone to a couple teachers other than Joe Morello, and man, they were all screwed up, in my opinion, with the concept of traditional. If anybody had their hands together, I'm not being prejudiced here or anything, and I'm not being bashing no one, but in my opinion, there was nobody better with a traditional grip than Joe Morello. The point, all right, let me explain a few things first. All right, that's a good question. The pointy finger, that's the middle finger you're talking about. All right, I have to explain something to everybody here, and I'll probably have to re-explain it a few other times in the future, okay? What happens with me, I have some damage in my left hand. When I was a young boy, I fell down concrete steps with the real milk bottles. They were glass. And I fell down, and I cut my left hand. And I have 64 stitches in my left hand to help make it heal, and I think I cut a tendon or an artery, or I don't know what I cut, but my hand hasn't been right ever since then. It's okay once in a while, but because of the weather changes, my left hand I have a problem with. If you can see, let me get the camera on this guy here. Here we go. Can you see that? This is my right hand. And I go like this. I can go like this with my pinky and my thumb. This is my left hand. If you see the arc in there, and if I go like this, you see my pinky sticking out? I can make a fist like this, but I cannot close that hand. I can bring my pinky in like this, okay, and she'll fly back out. All right. Now, when I play traditional, I try to maintain the positioning. I establish, first off, my center point. Now, a lot of guys think a center point's way down here. Some guys, like Keith Carlock, or I think that's his name, he plays his stick with, he holds his butt all the way up here, his stick all the way to the butt, and he gets power. But there's no balancing issue that I can see. But it works for him, that's great. What I do, I find the balancing point. It's like a basketball. I'm letting the stick do what it's supposed to do. Now this finger here is actually housing the stick and helps the stick move. You see the finger? I use both this finger and this thumb. I don't have that down. Tommy Igo's the one who got that. He's the master of that one. My middle finger is actually resting on the stick at times, and at times it's out like so. It rests and it goes out like that. I try to keep the two fingers here housing the stick like this. You see? Like that. So actually, I have my center point, or you want to call it the balancing point, and I turn the wrist, and I ride the rebound. I use this finger. Now, a lot of guys will use this finger back and forth like this. I'm physically unable to do that because of my injury. Okay? Like the first finger is this. I house it like that. You see that, Paul? That supports the balance. This supports the balance of my stick. This helps the balance out and makes the speed of the stick. The wrist, the finger, and the thumb. See that? Now I'm just using my finger. And there's other guys, I can't do this because of my injury. But this a push and pull, like this. I use, when I'm playing, I can play like that, like this. Let me see if I can do this for you. Let me take it over snares. See that? These guys that do this, two fingers, I have no feeling in it. That's where, you said to me, the pointy finger. I don't know if you meant this one, the middle finger. That one, I try to keep off the stick as much as possible, because it's more or less weight. But this is what I do with the left stick, that finger. If I'm playing, for example, if I'm just doing an eighth note amp, all right, I'm playing eighth notes with my left hand, bass drum 1, 2, 3, 4, hi-hat 2 and 4. It. Do we understand that? Well, yeah, it helps the rebound. It's part of the control. The thumb also helps the rebound. That's the right there is my center point, my balance. Without that, there'd be very little rebound. Without that center point. I can go like this. I just turn the wrist. This here helps the wrist. But you have to remember, when you're playing traditional like that, or even when you're over like this, German, everything comes from the wrist. The fingers help the wrist. When you get up there in tempo, it's helping the rebound a lot faster as opposed to just the wrist. You know, if you know what levers are, if you ever see a machine with levers in it, and you have like 1, 2, 3, 4 levers, and they're all, it's like the interlocking wheel, and they're all working together. If one of those wheels is not in sync, there's a little bit of a problem. Okay, what you have here is my fingers, your wrist, your elbow, and your shoulder. They are all, like I refer to them as the links, the wheels, all right? The louvers rather, or levers, whatever they call them, I'm not certain. And they all helping each other. I can't keep my wrist stiff and trim the finger. I will get nothing. Everything is relaxed. It's like a basketball. I would play up here like this. Do we understand that, Mr. Paul? You understand that, Ross? I mean, I do have that injury, and I apologize. One fella that was here, we all know who it is. It's Mike Clark. I mean, he's got a hell of a left hand. And on Tommy Igo's Great Hands for a Lifetime, Tommy Igo demonstrates like so. And he learned that from Dennis DeLucia. And for you who don't know who Dennis DeLucia is, he is an icon in the drum corps community. He teaches most of the drum lines. Okay? And he taught Tommy Igo, and Sonny Igo taught Tommy Igo. And his actual Hands for a Lifetime is great information, but he does demonstrate that. So if you see that on YouTube, if it's on YouTube, you know, check it out, unless you have it or you want to purchase it. But it's good information. Now I'm trying, I can, see, here's the problem with YouTube. I shouldn't really care, but, I mean, I do care what people say. I'm sure that you do. Now, I'll come and do a video on explaining, on the drum pad, for example, my left hand. I'll do that, and I'll put it out there. Some of the remarks are, yeah, that's real, very good, great information. Then the old one, then somebody will say I'm an old grouch, or, you know, it's pretty sad that some of these people are like wacky. I'll try to put one together for you, okay, Paul? All right, and for you, Ross, I'll put one out there. I mean, I just overwhelmed with all these videos to make. All right? What's the name of what again? The DVD? Is that what you're talking about, Paul? It's by Tommy Igo. Okay, Tommy Igo. Great Hands for a Lifetime. Okay, I gotta call it a night, guys. Ross, Paul, I think Xavier left. Oh well. Okay. And that's Tommy Igo's Great Hands for a Lifetime. Okay, gentlemen. We will see you tomorrow afternoon, 1 o'clock.